everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. We're about to begin our Go Green with UniLink webinar. If anyone has any questions, we will open it up for questions and answers at the end of the webinar. If you have a question during the presentation, feel free to enter it in your chat box, and we'll be happy to answer it at the end. My name is Jennifer, and I'm the Marketing and Business Development Specialist here at UniLink. Here's an outline of what we will be discussing today. Everything we discuss will relate to how customers can reduce time and cost, improve security, efficiencies, productivity, profit, and especially customer service, all while doing their part to reduce their environmental impact. We know that everyone has a busy schedule, so we'll try to keep it to a short 30 minutes today. And I have to mention that while we were putting together this webinar, we found that there was just so much content and information on the topic that we really would be here all day. So we really narrowed it down to focus on document imaging and enterprise content management because we feel it's the best way to save money and the environment, and it's the next logical step for most of our customers. Today we're going to have a special guest, Chad Siegel, the Product Marketing Manager at Cornell, one of our distributors, speak to you today about how enterprise content management can help community banks. Then we will pass the presentation to our National Sales Manager, Vince Polini, to discuss a bit about Signature Topaz, where you'll get a glimpse of a helpful return on investment calculator. Then I'll take back the presentation and wrap things up. Again, feel free to enter your questions in the chat box, but the answers will be held until the end of the presentation. We will also be posting this webinar on our website as well as our YouTube page for anyone who could not make it today. And of course, we'll be doing another giveaway at the end of the presentation. This one is related to our Go Green theme, and you will need to participate in order to win. So moving on, we'll be doing, we're going to pass this presentation on now to Chad, who will be discussing enterprise content management and how it can help your business. Let me pass the presentation on real quick here, and we'll get started.
We're going to go through basically enterprise content management at a very high level. This slide, you've probably already read it. This is as defined by AIM International, who is the leading nonprofit authority on enterprise content management. They have their own certification programs. I myself am an enterprise content management specialist in that marketplace, as well as a certified document engineer. So we're going to go through and define what capture, manage, and store is in this content in a way that makes sense to you guys as a group. When you're dealing with content management, the first component is the type of content. So you're dealing with paper documents, electronic Word documents or Excel documents, PDF documents, legacy database or print stream information such as cold reports, the large green bar reports that we used to get printed out from financial institutes, now being in a print stream in a sort of form, being able to store in a document, as well as faxes coming across fax servers and or paper faxes, right? So these are all different types of content that we focus on capturing in a marketplace. What we're most familiar with, or most organizations, as they take that first step, it's dealing with the large files and paper documents and really trying to figure out how to get from that huge undertaking of rows and rows of files to digitize, capture, and put into some sort of a system that's easier to retrieve from. So when you're looking at this, you have your paper documents getting captured with document scanners in the marketplace and then being stored in some sort of a electronic repository and or large database specifically assigned to help with that searching on those key documents. What you also deal with is communication when you're dealing with enterprise content management with legacy database information. So easier to pull up if you have a loan document, being able to pull that customer information because you probably already have it in some sort of database inside your organization, and it just helps and gives you more search criteria under those documentations, as well as it gives you several different aspects on how to search for information, whether or not you're searching inside an existing application whether it's a customer support or a management portal. Maybe it's a portal where you create your loan documents and you're able to link that with existing imaging applications, or whether or not you have different regional offices and just do a centralized server at a corporate location and then still gain access for regional and or off-site people. So when you're dealing with enterprise content management, it's about not only about the paper, it's about the back-end databases, but really the first step is figuring out how do you manage that paper in the environment, and then how does it go through this funnel, and how can you maximize that. So I'm going to touch on really 4 key points when you're dealing with content management that are really drivers in this space. 1 being corporate pains, 2 being compliance regulations, 3 being litigation, and then 4 being the main crux of our conversation today, which is green. These are just some basic stats when you're dealing in paper in general. This is 80% of corporate information is still on paper despite the explosive growth of computer technology in the workplace. That means that even though I have an email, I can keep it electronic, I'm still printing it in my marketplace. Paper is growing by 22% per year. It's because it's easier to print. There's better quality of print. It's just something that people can do a lot easier than what you used to, and it's more convenient with multifunction devices being able to have printers more centrally located inside of an organization. When you're looking at just productivity, 33% of an employee's time is spent with documents, whether searching for documents, whether reading documents, modifying documents, writing documents, or reviewing documents, or doing what I'm doing right now, and that's flipping pages of the PowerPoint presentation I'm going over as we speak. And then is the really crux of what we're looking at here from a dollar and return of investment. 25% of labor costs are associated with paper. 15% of a company's revenues are spent on documentation. $15 to $20 file one document over its lifetime. It's me getting a file, creating the file folder, putting it in, getting it back out when I need it, putting it back in. It's the cost associated with that process. It's $120 searching for a misfiled document. Not remembering, maybe it's a new employee who's come in and replacing another individual, and they don't know how that other person might have filed something. Up to 1 in 20 documents are lost, and it costs up to $250 to create a lost document. That's a lot of money to recreate that process. And then average of 19 copies are made of each document throughout an organization. And that is sending different reports to people, and they're going to print it out, and doing all of those kinds of things. So as much as we like to talk about going into an age where we're not dealing with paper, it's really not going to go away anytime soon. One of the key drivers for electronic content management, however, is tied to compliance and regulations in marketplaces. There's over 25,000 regulations worldwide tied to compliance and content. That's at the national level, state, and local. So you're looking at across a large scope, there's a lot of things that are driving this. Some of them that you might be familiar with are Sarbanes-Oxley, HIPAA, the SEC 17-A. Those are all things that impact why people are digitizing documents and how they're securing those documents. From an SEC 17-A, it's not just digitizing the document, but it's also tied to retention periods, right? If you're also then keeping paper documents for 6+ years, 7+ years for the life of that document, and if it's a mortgage document for the life of that mortgage, that is going to build up in cost of office space and or storage space, as well as retrieval and trying to maintain that documentation. Sarbanes-Oxley is another great where it's not only the concept of having the electronic records, but it's also how are you securing those, how are you protecting that once it is digitized, and how are you making sure that not everybody can go in and do something with that. So what are the document type of levels? So it's not as just digitizing documents, which is a very, very important piece, but it's also your process, how you access those digitized documents as well as you control different versions of them. And that leads me to, both of those are tied heavily to the litigation aspect of it. Litigation and discovering, and another level down is even auditing. Being able to produce consistent quality information not only helps you be more specific and capable within your auditing community, instead of having them take 3 weeks on site trying to look through physical paper documents, being able to give them access to a portal of electronic documents where they can search quickly and find what they need. When you're dealing with litigations, it's as much as, if you don't have that process down, trying to reduce hundreds and reams of paper into a discovery case costs more than it does to just settle litigation, right? So WorldCom settles $54 million, and that's because it was easier to settle because it was going to cost too much the way their processes work in the litigation. To get all of the information, they didn't have it electronically digitized and through some sort of a process to be able to cleanly put it out to that audit. And then you move to green IT, right? We talk a lot about green initiatives. Most of it has been focused around the conversion, or the being able to help with the energy usage and power consumption at the PC server and data center level. One thing that has often been neglected is the green, what they call green hard copy, which is not only the paper, but it's also the ink consumption and the caution associated to printing documents. As you can see by this chart here, over the next 3 years, you're looking at a total energy cost increasing heavily year over year, even though the level of multifunction device is declining slightly, and it's because those multifunction devices are printing more, printing faster, and doing better quality, requiring more ink in them. Some other basic green stats are the American office worker uses 4 million tons of paper annually. That's about 10,000 sheets of copy paper per worker. That's a lot of reams of paper, right? And then nearly 180 million trees were consumed in 2008 for the 1.5 trillion pages used on hard copy devices. If the U.S. were to reduce paper by just 10%, 1.6 million tons of greenhouse gases could be eliminated, and that's the same as taking 280 cars off the road. So 280,000 cars. And then between 2,000 and 10,000 gallons of water are used to produce 1 ton of paper, depending on the sizing and type of paper. Obviously, ledger is different than letter, is different than A4. But those are just some basic stats on what that impact of thinking about green hard copy and thinking about all of that paper that's being generated and stored within your organization, how much that really can be, shrunk down by not only digitizing, but also trying to figure out how can you also take documents that are already in electronic fashion and not force them to a print. The next 3 slides I put together, I'm not going to really go through these. These are more just in general terms that are focused around ECM, whether or not it be around like automatic document feeder is tied towards a scanning device and the amount of paper that'll hold each time it runs through a batch of scanning. But this is just more for your resource as you do research and as you try to understand better about the marketplace of content and document management. Hopefully this can help you go through some of those questions and make you better educated about this marketplace as you get into it. All right. Thank you very much for my time today. And obviously, if you have any questions, you can add it to the Q&A section at the bottom for the chat, and we'll get to them at the end of the session.
Thanks, Chad. I appreciate that. And to follow up and add on to what Chad has provided, UniLink is your source for not only answers to your questions about document management and enterprise content management solutions, but we're here to provide you an unbiased and vendor-neutral solution for hardware, software, or support. We're looking at ways to identify and work with you, to consult with you on your particular need, and we'll come up with a customized or a tailored solution to fit your needs. And then just a quick look at some of the a few of the manufacturers that we like to work with regards to document management. There's Canon, Kodak, Panasonic, and Fujitsu, and you can see that they're all concerned. They all have their own green initiatives, and continually looking at ways to make equipment and more energy efficient and economical. And periodically, each of these vendors offer trade-in programs that not only help to lower your costs, but by trading equipment, you're also helping to save the environment. Okay, another area we'd like you to consider is where you can help to control costs while effectively reducing the green footprint is with signature pads. And there's been even stronger interest recently, and hopefully you'll see why we think this is another area where UniLink can provide you the solution that meets your needs. Here you see a quote from Topaz Systems. They're one of the leading manufacturers of signature pads, noting the various areas where signature pads have helped customers to save money. And we're being told by our customers that there are a variety of areas where signature pads and electronic documents are saving them thousands each year, including loan documents, signature cards, new account forms, and even also HR-related documents. Essentially, once you've created your document files electronically, you can now print a copy for your customers, but then electronically store or forward the necessary documents either to your main branch, as required, or to individual branches. You also have the flexibility of easy retrieval of those documents. Just think of the number of copies you currently have to create, file, and forward. Now look at the cost of paper, toner, courier fees, floor space. Add to that the intangible cost of labor. With signature pads added to the process, you simply have the document once and you are done. And if you have a disaster recovery plan in place, you build in electronic files for daily backup and help to eliminate the risk of lost, damaged, or destroyed documents. Here you see a return on investment calculator that we use to help determine the related costs in areas where we can point out costs that you can control. And there are some assumptions that are built in, but we can adjust those based upon your situation. This is provided to us by our partner Computime. And if you look, let's look at the first example, cost of manually routing process. And again, the assumptions are that you're going to do 1,000 loan origination documents a month. And we know there's 12 months out of the year, and then the assumption on the wage. Well, with those calculations in place, you can see that just in the cost of manually routing process, you're looking at $141,000 per year in expense. Now, when you take a look at some of the other areas, including paper and postage costs, tax costs, and the cost of missed filings and lost forms, the average financial institution is looking at almost $300,000 in adjustable or costs that they can learn to control. So there's a lot of variety, there's a lot of opportunity for you to recover your investment on signature pads, only to find that there's other ways to save and incorporate other ideas into the cost savings and include them as well. Moving on to other products to consider, photo ID scanners. They're an additional information. You can store additional information and retrieve that data easily rather than taking a paper copy and then putting it in a file and then having to go to retrieve that file or scanning that file. Now with a photo ID scanner, you simply scan it, store it, and it's there. It's retrievable for your tellers. Image replacement documents. This is another area that we're seeing an increasing amount of activity on, and this is probably going to be the subject of one of our next webinars in the coming week. A real-life example with regards to this is that we had a senior VP of item processing in a community bank was concerned about the risk they were incurring on outstanding return items because of slow processing and IRD and receipt of those items from the Federal Reserve Board. They were receiving paper IDs from the FRB via just standard U.S. mail. He stated that he needed a way that when receiving returns from the FRD, his operations team could just download the files electronically and then print the IRDs on site, allowing them to complete the process in a matter of minutes instead of a couple of days. Well, since implementing the solution, he's cut his return processing time from an average of 3 days to less than 1 day. He has also reduced his losses due to insufficient funds by more than $8,000 each month. Now, clearly, each situation will yield different results, but we are here to help you with that process. Simply contact your UniLink sales rep or me for more information on that. And with that, I'd like to flip this back to Jennifer for the remainder of the presentation.
Thank you, Ben. Many of you have attended our last webinar based on the variety of value-add services that UniLink offers, where you learned about our authorized service center. UniLink is able to offer our customers refurbished equipment with the same manufacturer's warranty at up to a 75% savings. We want to assure everyone that our refurbished equipment is put through rigorous quality control testing. At such a great savings and convenience, we're proud to offer this to our customers, and we encourage our customers to consider purchasing refurbished units as a backup to eliminate any potential downtime. Refurbished equipment is also a great option if everyone is comfortable using your equipment, yet it has become a discontinued model. We can provide you with that same model. Also, part of this recycling piece, we offer rebates, buyback, and trade-in programs. These are great to take advantage of when you are expanding or looking to upgrade. As well, if you have the unfortunate circumstance of having to close a branch and need to get rid of all this equipment that you have, give us a call. We buy back equipment all the time. We do have a current list of refurbished equipment on our website. However, if you don't see it there, don't hesitate to call us because more than likely we can get it for you. And that really goes for anything. If you need something and don't see it or can't find it on our website, because we offer a lot of stuff, we'll get it for you. Just call us. If you're interested in learning more about our refurbished and repair services, you can watch our last webinar posted on our website under Maintenance Services. And again, we will be posting this webinar on our website. Finally, moving on. What does UniLink do? We currently utilize document management and remote deposit, which largely reduce our paper waste, along with these simple things like recycling within our office. In our service center, we recycle parts from other equipment that has reached its end of life. If we have parts that are practically brand new, which have been pulled from another piece of equipment, why throw them away? Our customers will be contacted to give them the option of having these pieces installed at a discounted price. And of course, our refurbish and rebate programs discussed in the previous slide increase the life cycle of the hardware. Finally, UniLink is proud to announce our new ink and toner recycling program. We're offering this program for our customers at no cost to you. Absolutely no cost. We'll provide you with a free shipping box if you need it and a prepaid shipping label. We basically can take any brand ink or toner. All you have to do is call or email me or your rep and provide a shipping address and contact. Of course, we encourage you to save up a few cartridges first so we can put as many in one box as possible. We want to reduce those emissions. And we could actually send you an empty box which you could put up on your counter, and customers could drop off their ink cartridges as part of your green initiative. Well, that about wraps things up. I want to thank everyone for your time. We'll take a few minutes to answer some questions and then announce the giveaway. If you have any questions, please type them in your chat box. I'll read them aloud so everyone can hear. Before we start answering, I want to encourage everyone to keep an eye out for our emails. They include updates and promotions, as well as occasionally we have contests where our customers can win some really great prizes. A few weeks ago, we just wrapped up a cutest pet contest where people submitted their pet photos and voted on who was the cutest. First place was $50 PetSmart gift card, second place $25, and third place $10. We also keep our Facebook and Twitter pages updated with these promotions and really valuable information. So let's take a look at our questions. We actually don't have any questions at this time. Apparently we covered everything. If you think of anything later down the road, go ahead and give us a call. So let's see. For our giveaway, UniLink will donate $15 to the Arbor Day Foundation for you to correspond with our Go Green theme. Each dollar donated plants a tree in one of our national forests, and you get a nice little certificate you can hang up in your office. So in order to win, we have pre-selected a number 1 through 50, and it's pre-selected. It's on the next slide. If anybody who wants to join and participate, enter your guess in the chat box. More than one person can win. So enter your guess 1 through 50 in your chat box. I appreciate everyone's time and thank you for attending our webinar. We hope it was informative and we look forward to presenting our next one. Feel free to contact us at any time if you have any further questions. We'll be posting this webinar up on our website again for anybody who could not attend. And thank you and happy holidays.